It feels weird because I feel like we've been saying that for so long now. Like, it's another day. You don't want to push it, and I'm just, it's like. But at one point, you gotta get some profits in. But yeah, it's yeah, Danny.
What's up, guys? I
Oh,
just
I
took
oh
shares on TPST there.
that
Let's
had a nice
see.
little bounce back.
Well, I'm still holding the full position. I didn't get any profit out yet, so let's see if I can.
you bought that fake sell off there just now.
Yeah, I'm in at 65.
Oh yeah, that's nice actually.
Got some out there for 10 cents. I'd like to see if it can get back over 80. I'm not sure if it will, though. I'm gonna get the rest out there, I guess.
That's where it gets pretty intense on those moves because you're in a way you're trading backside, and that's exactly where I've been losing all of my money.
Yeah, I agree, except kind of on TPST because it seems like somebody is buying it up every time it does
Good point.
do a deeper dip.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
But you definitely have to be careful and patient.
Yeah, it's been holding this zone pretty okay.
That 1140 claim was a big candle back up.
1140. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't expect that. I think I got a little bit of profit on that, but I thought it was dead at that point.
Yeah, I did
And then
too.
the hard part is it has like these huge bullish engulfing candles after that attempted sell-off, and then it just does nothing.
I'll push up close to high a day at some point again, and then it might flush. Looks
Yeah,
pretty manipulated.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I would be worried about. Another one of those EDTX moments, because I mean, it was at 17 cents. You can't forget that. And now it's chilling around 770.
Well, the difference though, at least, is that they had news,
Yeah,
had cancer trial results that spiked that. So
might push past 10 at one point. I wouldn't even be surprised.
yeah, it's holding up fairly well. I'm not sure if it could do that today.
Yeah, I'm not sure about today either, but it definitely feels like, especially on the daily, that it had the big pullback and now it's starting to push
Yeah,
back higher.
yeah. I'm worried about going to the gym. I'm sure I'll miss it.
Uh-oh.
But I've traded it pretty well today. Um, I'm just under my highs on it. I was at 2200 on it.
Oh, that's really
Um,
nice.
by the time that like 1023 candle hit, and then in the little pullback and all of that, I gave back, I think just 500 of it. And then around that 1049, 1050 candle, um, I was trying to buy that as a dip and I gave back a lot more. I went from 2200 on it, eventually down to just under 700 on it.
Mm.
But now I'm back up at 1650. So two solid days in a row for me. And I'm kind of just trying not to overtrade it.
That's been my problem. Yesterday I had a max loss day and it was so
Mm,
unnecessary. Like I was trending red all day. I was making
mhm.
notes like, it's not looking good for me. I'm trending down. I'm a little sick. And I just,
It's not looking good for me.
I was already writing that like pre-market. Like I just cannot catch a break. And then I had like market opened. I had like 10 red trades in a row. No big losers, but I was like just bleeding cash. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
well, not a good day for me, period. That's just sometimes you have those days.
Yeah. I've really been finding lately that pre-market is like semi untradeable.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
normally don't focus on it much at all, but even just watching it, and I did try to take a couple trades on SPRC before the open today, and I think it was two losses out of 2 attempts.
Pre-market has not been paying me like it used to at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'll check it at 7 a.m. and then I basically log off at 7:30.
Yeah.
Once I conclude that nothing's really looking good, because usually I do
Yeah.
make most of my money right around that 7 a.m. time. If there's nothing moving, then I just close it, maintain that mental capacity, that mental energy before I throw it all out
Yeah.
the window, looking at nothing.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of things. Number one probably being that even with the top gainer, top gapper, um, even with them showing like a solid gap up, they seem to trade really terribly.
Yeah.
I think they're just too crowded, too many people watching them, too much garbage going on.
Yeah, it sure feels that way. 100%.
I'm wishing that I'd held on to TPST a little bit longer, but if it can get back over 8, it gets above descending resistance. There's a 180,000 share seller at 790, but I think they're going to get squeezed.
Yeah, trading this late in the morning or day, it's noon now. I feel like hasn't even been the worst approach. I mean, there's been some pretty good moves like late 10 o'clock. It's unusual. And,
Yeah.
I think that's also what's been making it a little bit harder for me, since I usually don't stick around this late. And I feel like in this market, you really have to just kind of be patient and stare at the market until something happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Like last week, because I had been in a drawdown for so long, and I still am, but I've had a couple solid days now finally. I started going to the gym like early, like right after market open, and just to try to avoid the open in like the first hour. And that was kind of hard too, because I would feel like I needed to rush through my workout and I was kind of missing actual moves. And then I would come back and nothing would be happening.
Yeah.
So even though I was trying to avoid getting chopped up, I kind of still got chopped up a little bit.
Yes, there's no winning right now, I swear.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a grind. It's a grind. How's everyone else doing? Who wants to take it?
I'm doing okay. The first week of October was awful for me. 5 red days in a row, Monday through Friday. Last week was okay. I had 4 green days. Thursday was a red day, a little bit bigger, definitely bigger than I would have liked. But so far this week, I'm on 2 really, really very solid green days. And it definitely helps with the confidence, but starting to maybe feel like there's some light. I just know that I need to keep being very careful. And just because I've had 1 or 2 good days in a row doesn't mean that like the market is safe still.
Yeah.
Hot, especially. So just trying to keep being careful and trying to keep being really mindful of each of the trades I'm taking.
Wow, NKTX just now. Boom. Big
Yeah,
move.
I keep seeing that chime on my scanners, and because of the float and the price, I kind of just completely discounted it. But that's a pop, isn't it?
It's a really nice one. I was just thinking like maybe I should trade it, but I don't know. I
It's
didn't
a
really have much.
35 million float, which on a cheaper stock maybe isn't a big deal, but 35 million share float in like the $2 to $3 range, that's not really what I tend to do really well on.
Yeah, I just like this extended pullback here because we've been seeing a lot of these shakeouts before a quick, maybe 1 or 2 minute pop, and then
Yeah.
basically after that it's not easy to trade. But I feel like this move right here is has been happening a lot. How about any Toby, Tom, Colby? What are you guys thinking right now? How's your trading going?
I did okay today. I was a little smaller size, just super relaxed. Traded a little bit in pre-market. It was up like 150 in pre-market. And just kind of held that all the way through till the market open. Didn't trade much during market open. It was just too whippy, so I
Mhm.
decided not to trade it. It's just I couldn't get a feel of where anything was going. So I waited a little bit longer and then started trading TPST, and I also was trading SPRC a little bit, about 30 minutes after the market opened, trying to letting it slow down a little bit, and was able to find some better trades that way. Um, my high was I got up to like 340 or something, and then gave back about 100, and then my last trade I made back like 130, so I was up like 350, 360 on the day.
That's not bad. Not
Yeah, it
bad.
was easy, chill, no stress, so I'll take it.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, for me, tough market for sure today, man. Like even the past couple of weeks have just been like the backs. Once the stock enters the backside, it's just like it can get brutal. Yesterday on MNTS, we had that nice run up. It was like almost like 200%.
Mhm.
And then gave back all of its gains on the day to curl back up by the end of the day and squeeze out. But yeah, yesterday got caught in that halt down for 50-cent loss. On still somewhat small share size. I haven't been really pushing it too heavy. Um, but yeah, the backside has been pretty brutal, and it's just like these very short-lived pops. Like if you can, it's really hard to time when the shorts are stuck, because it'll hit the resistance like 3 or 4 times within the same candle before it finally pops through. Sometimes it'll retrace the entire move back to the lows to curl up again, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's just really hard to get that timing. And then if you take too many small paper cuts, by the time you do get the move, you're still kind of red on
Mhm.
it. You don't really make all of it back. And
Yeah.
then for it to, after it squeezes out, it reverses and comes all the way back down. But yeah, definitely overall on this month, small green, still kind of just kind of chugging away on like smaller share size. Yesterday, I tried to push a little bit, but got stuck in a halt, like I said. And then today, made a decent chunk back, mostly because I got that lucky breakout that broke out 50 cents on TPST.
Mhm.
Usually, breakouts aren't that explosive, but I think I lucked out with catching that breakout that squeezed all the way up to about $9. So that kind of made my day today. But yeah,
Nice.
overall small green.
How come did you get the breakout when it was when it already broke and had that 1 minute pullback, or did you go for that initial kind of
Oh no,
first?
sorry. I got
Yeah.
up to yeah, sorry, 740 up to 798, not to 9. I didn't catch the continuation. I was like,
Oh, so
I got
you
my green trade, I'm done.
wow, nice. Okay, yeah. That was a classic breakout trade. Nice work.
Yeah. And you can kind of see on the larger time frame just from after hours and pre-market on that chart pattern that 750 was definitely likely to break, especially after you got that test at 955 and then it pulled back and then it held that low. You see how it whipped back down at 955 today?
Yeah.
It held the low. If it was weak, it would have sold off and went right back down all the way to where it came from, back down wherever what price was that, down at like $3 or $4. But since it held that low and kind of bounced pretty strongly at 955 this morning, and kind of held that range, definitely likely to see that break at 750 for sure.
Yeah, I like that. And at this point, we're making higher lows and it turns into a bit of a flat top breakout.
Yeah, and what I was saying was that fan, you see that fan candle at like 953?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did try to break the 750. Was that, yeah, 750 area. So, but we kind of topped out again, but we held the low after that flush back down. That's definitely a signal that there's more interest in the stock than you would think.
Mm. Yeah, well, that was a solid trade for sure. That's kind of what I was telling Danny before. It feels like you really have to be patient in this environment, and then you gotta
Yeah.
once you see that move, you really got to get aggressive. Ideally, use decent size, and then kind of walk away or prepare to wait for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it took 30 minutes in that range just to break out. That's like what I was saying before is like timing that breakout is so tough because you could be watching that range for 30 minutes before it ever breaks out, and you can be
Mm.
taking paper cut after paper cut.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to be really careful with that lately. That's something I've noticed too, and really been trying to focus on and try to trade less so that, like you just said, by the time that break finally comes around, you're not like too red to even go green.
Yeah.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit of red, so you have that extra Rambo inside of you, but
Right.
but not too much red where you can't get
Got a
that.
little bit of extra fire.
Yeah, screw it, I'm going all in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, I'm gonna hit this with 5,000 shares instead of 1,000.
yeah. Those are the best when they work. Yeah.
When they
Someone
were
took my mouse away.
Dot dot dot. Yeah. Uh, so
I just
bad.
bought that dip on TPST. That was pretty
Did
good.
you?
I did too, but I took a small loss buying the dip, and then I made a really small gain buying the dip. So
I almost hit the
I
bottom.
maybe
I got like 10 cents out of it or something.
nice.
This, oh man, yeah, I like the bounces it always makes, but these are the exact moves where I've been getting into max loss territory because right now it's actually bouncing, and typically I'll go for these trades and they'll just go like this and then this, and then
Yeah,
before you know it,
if they continue, you're in deep
it's in a
shit.
free fall, yeah. But hey, these
Like,
are actually working pretty nicely. But
yeah,
yeah,
I was
when
gonna
they
say my
don't,
biggest losses are trying to fish for that bottom, and
yeah,
then it ends up halting down, and then I'm just like stuck, and then it
yeah.
opens up like 50 cents a dollar a share lower. That's my biggest losses ever. So I definitely get a little paranoid on those dips.
Yeah, I'm a bit paranoid myself at the moment. What about you, Colby? How's trading? What are the large caps up to? What's the SPY doing? Give us the scoop.
Honestly, let me start it off with, like, cheers to you guys for fucking trading that shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, we have
That shit
trauma.
looks crazy, dude. Every time I jump in this podcast and you guys are going over your trades, I'm just like, wow. The difference in markets is astonishing because that stuff is just it's so crazy different than what I have to do. It's so fascinating, honestly. Like you guys are just kind of trying to find that, like, there's really like a 5-minute window. I mean, it's the same thing with large caps, kind of. Like you always have that little window of time where things are really clean, but like,
Yeah.
Jesus, that's just crazy. That's scary. Um, for me, I've been fine. I mean, I'm trying not to change anything in my process and just work every day to try to make my system a little bit better. And this is like my phase of like no more pivoting. I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm going to make what I have work. And I'm trying to do that a lot, but I'm still like slightly red in October, but like $100, which is like one trade. Um, I don't know. My main thing right now is I'm trying not to just make any like really big mistakes. Like I was telling Danny this the other day, but um yeah, like I don't want to make any, like, it's okay to make mistakes, but I don't want to make big mistakes because a big mistake right now means a red month. Like you just have one big mistake, you can have a whole red month just from one of them. Before you could get bailed out by, 3 or 4 decent little trades, make up one mistake, but now it takes like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get over one max loss red day. So
Yep. I have found that out and I'm working my way out of that.
I
Yeah.
concur as well. I'm still
Yeah.
working my way for my double max loss. Ugh.
yeah, I had a double max
Yeah.
loss two Fridays ago, and I'm still like $200 below that. So yeah, I just don't want to have one more big mistake, and then it's like boom. Well, now I gotta go. I gotta
Right.
spend 2 months of trading to try to get that back. But yeah, everything's been good actually. I mean, I'm really starting to like my system that I'm forming, and I could tell that every day I'm getting a little bit better at reading it. And it's kind of fun because like the whole system is still somewhat discretionary. Like I can understand the trend. That's what the system tells me, but I have to know the strength of it. So like if my system is very strong, let's say I'll look for a more aggressive target, more aggressive entries. And whenever it's weak, I'll just look for like cheap scalps and try to do it that way.
Right.
So it's kind of fun because there still is like a discretionary aspect. It's not like I'm just, 3 buttons turn green and I'm like long full size, like I still have to like think about it and really be cautious. But But like today I went long on the ES and I made like $400 on this one trade. And I have such a habit. I don't know if you guys do this, but you guys don't really trade reversals that much, but every single time I trade, I'm always getting the bulk of my profits at the very like first 5 minutes of a huge V-shaped reversal. So like the V-shape happens and I get my profits in like that very bottom. And then I just watch the whole thing go up without me. And I literally made 5 points on this move today and it went 50. So I made only 10% of the entire massive move that went. Oh man, it was so painful because
I think
like,
it's. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
no, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think it's usually like reasonable to think if I see a big move happen, I feel like I traded it well if I got like a third of the move.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were selling too early? Just because of like the market, just feeling like you need to take profits, or do you just sell fully and not hold some?
Well, I think I have like 3 reasons. Reason number one, I was expecting it to reverse long all day.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen.
Sometimes, and I think that this was an issue that I used to have more, where I would take like all of my profit off, and what I found was taking bigger share size made me more comfortable with taking like the normal amount off that I would have, where I felt like I should take profit, and then kind of let the rest do what it looks like it wants to do. But I wouldn't recommend that if you're like having a lot of struggles getting profit in the first place.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, I wish I was trading shares so I could do something like that, but since it's contracts, I'm kind of just stuck because my max size is like 2 ES contracts, which is
so
$100. Yeah, it's $100 per point. So like, I mean, if I go to 4 ES contracts, that's $200 per point. I mean, I could lose $1,000 in a second doing that. So
yeah,
usually I'm only looking for 1 ES contract total on every trade. But you could see these trades here. So your question was, why did I sell this so early? So this is this tiny little trade. So got in here once, added here, sold both of them right there for like 4 points. But that was like $400 trade, that tiny little piece. But in the morning, I went long. I immediately made like $125 and then lost it, went negative 150, made back 100, went red again for negative 100. So I already was like fighting the market, thinking that we were going to go long, but I was just too early on the trade. And then I finally got this bottom, which is obviously, this is the V right here that I'm talking about. Like, and I made all of my money in literally the very like tiny minuscule part where the V actually started to go the other direction. And then look how far this went without me. Like, that's crazy. I sold right here. If I would have held this for 2 more minutes, I would have made $1,000 in that one trade.
Yeah, and there's no indication for it to return. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can't really trade this continuation because look at this shit. What are you gonna do? Go long right here?
Because then it's already extended.
Yeah, like I don't trade that shit. I'm like, my number one thing that I hate trading more than anything is trading continuation after extension. I hate that shit.
Yeah,
it just never.
Because then you got the good move, and from there it usually starts to get a little choppy. I mean, yeah, you had an awesome entry and you sold into resistance, so it makes sense.
Like, there's 2 things I could have done. So first of all, if I'm going long this early and it's like before 10 o'clock, the market never reverses before 10 o'clock. So if I'm looking for a reversal and I get 2 points or 3 points and it's before 10 o'clock and I can just book $100 win quickly, just try to stack those up so I can build a cushion. So if the actual reversal does happen, I have like a $300 to $400 profit and I can risk that and actually try to get like a huge green day. But I shouldn't have been going long after the second long that I lost 2 in a row, 2 losses. I should have just sat back and been like, okay, what's the most likely draw on liquidity? Well, we're probably going to break this low of day. So right when we broke this low of day, I got long again, stopped out at the bottom, and then re-entered immediately. So I'm just 1, over trading. 2, I was red $150 and I was in this trade with 2 contracts. So if this would have broken the low of day, I would have been at my max loss. So that scared me as well. And then once we came back up and I was profitable on the day, I was like, fuck it, let me just take my money because I don't want to be, this is still a downtrend until we break the high of day. Once we break the high of day, then you can for sure 100% say, okay, this has reversed, but this is still lower high, lower low, lower high. And then now we get the higher low. So I think maybe the only thing I could have done is trade less in the morning, look for smaller scalps, and have my stop at break even. Don't really take losses this early in the morning. Like if your entry's bad, just get out immediately. And then once the actual V is forming, I need to sell one at a passive target and then one at an aggressive target. So I like to look at targets that way recently, where I'm saying like, okay, you could say this level right here is a possible, this was a lower high right here. So once we break this zone at 43.74, that's whenever we're technically making like a change of character. Sorry. That's whenever we're making a change of character, and that's whenever that'd be like a passive target. That target right there. But then an aggressive target would be a break of the high of day, because that's like a full-on change of character, structure change. The whole, now the V shape is formed and we're going long. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, main thing is just don't trade your P&L. That's the easy answer, but which is what I did mostly. So yeah.
It's super common. Don't beat yourself up. I do the same stuff. I do the
Yeah.
same stuff. It's
Yeah.
a different mindset though when you do have, like Daniel was saying, when you do have more share size, because or more contracts, because you can, you can take half off, and then you mentally you can be like, well, I have already an insurance policy. I have a cushion on this trade already, on this specific trade. I already have a cushion on it. If I would be comfortable taking 50% of off the top of that trade if it doesn't work out. But
Yeah.
then you can capitalize on the upside if it decides to go farther. But it's a
Yeah.
completely different mindset when you can take some off for profit.
Yeah. I shouldn't have been that. I mean, yeah, if I was green already, that would have been a much different trade, I think. But
Yeah.
that's not how trading is supposed to be. You're not supposed to sit here and be like, oh, I'm down this much. I don't know. It's so hard though, because like sometimes you do have to do that when the market's hard. You shouldn't really try to push so much and be like, oh, let me get an outsized green day. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely sizing in those moves helps me a lot, and taking quick profits off the table. And you actually notice, I think a lot of people do that, because it'll be like a quick bounce and then it'll go down and struggle for a while because everyone's taking some of their profits, and then it usually
Yeah.
continues. And
Yeah.
that's probably where you get a bit faked out. Not to mention because the SPY or the ES is just, it's going to be a lot more shaky. I mean, even for the small caps, it'll go back a few times and then maybe continue.
Yeah.
But for you, it might last 2-3 minutes even.
Yeah, like 10, 20 sometimes.
Yeah. So taking some off the table will probably feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, size can make trading a lot easier. It obviously makes it a little bit more emotional, or definitely a lot more emotional, depending how much you size. But man, once you can start using size to your advantage, it does make a big difference for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to work up to being able to add into the trade as I'm winning, but the market just doesn't give us those moves anymore that I can just keep adding and adding and adding and selling at some super aggressive target.
Yeah,
But
adding into winners right now is, that's not something I can do either.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on the SPY overall? Because it's been on a nice little rally, huh?
I mean, to be honest, my same always shut up by the SPY. I don't want to ever even sit and think for a minute that I'm going to have a better economic outlook than JP Morgan's $50 million budget they have on analysts every year. And every single one of those analysts are wrong. It's like, how much money can these banks truly spend on prediction models and still be wrong? Like, I'm not going to be right. The only thing that I do like about news is marking extremes from news catalysts. So like the low of the year of last year in October, you just kind of went over it, but it was October of last year was the low of the SPY. That day, you can see how we gapped down. Yeah, right there. you could see how we gapped down and then we rallied like some crazy amount, like 100 or 200 points off that low. Yeah, that's 200 ES points. So 18 SPY points.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
insane.
insane. That's a 5% 1 day increase from low of day to high of day. And you know what day that was? That was the day that CPI was the worst number ever. It was the biggest jump month over month that we've had so far in the entire cycle of this recessionary environment, whatever. And whenever you see a really bad catalyst cause the immediate opposite reaction, that is a huge turning point in a stock. Like that's whenever everyone's caught off sides, right? Everyone's positioned in the wrong way and it has to flip. And then the whole market goes in the opposite direction. And that happened on that CPI day back in October. And then most recently, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we've had non-farm payroll was way higher than expected. And we made a massive bottom on there as well. And it was like 120 point move from low of day to high of day. So when I see stuff like that, that's whenever I'm like, okay, you kind of have to know like a little bit about economics in the environment, because if you saw the NFP non-farm payroll be really higher than expected and you were shorting that day and it rallied 100 points on you, that's not good. That is not a good thing or a place to be. So that kind of stuff is really important. But in general, when I see most normal headlines, like today we had retail sales and just bullshit like that, I don't fucking care. I don't care what's going on unless some massive, insane move happens, then I'll get interested. But I mean, I think it's most likely, this is my dumb opinion, but it's most likely that we probably are just going to be in a ranging market for a very long time, because like, I don't know if you guys have seen that video of the guy going to Costco and doing the price comparison from last year to this year. And every single thing was like up 100%. Every grocery item. Like every
Not
item.
surprising at all.
Like inflation's 100%. Like it's pretty much 100% year over year. And we're saying it's like 6.
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb. Like that doesn't make any sense. First of
I
all,
was thinking about that just yesterday too.
Dude, like the Fed omits like the extremes. They don't even include like groceries on their number. Like if groceries are too high on a month over month basis, they omit it because they're like, oh, it's only just happening this month, so we can't put that in the average. It's going to make the average so much higher. Well, that's what you fucking do whenever you want to see like the actual number, right?
They probably get to choose like average versus actual median. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about how much I paid for my first car. And like when I was a kid, when my dad would buy like a cool car and it was like a sport car and it was like $30,000, which buys you like a mid-grade Mazda these days. And
Like
it's just crazy.
Miles,
Everything has just like completely doubled.
Yeah. There's just no way we get out of this unscathed. There's no fucking way. It's impossible. There's just no reality where we're breaking out of all-time highs on the SPY and just like going into a new bull market. Like, why the hell would this ever cause a bull market? I don't know, but I mean, I'm an idiot, but
yeah.
Well, I was just thinking like that is exactly when the illogical moves happen. Like if we come up and test highs on whatever stock, and I've been wrong on a couple things this week where I'm like, it should double top against this point. If it doesn't, it's probably going to reject. So I'm not going to take it. And it blasts through, holds, and then goes way higher. And I'm like, well, I guess I was wrong about that. But we'll see. I like that the market is creeping up, and IWM is as well. IWM has been having a nice rally bounce the last week or two as well, which is probably why small caps have been doing a little bit better since then too. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a bias or conviction on whether I think the market's going higher or lower. It's going to be interesting either way. I'd like it to hold around where it has been, like 430 SPY. I mean, especially going into elections next year, I feel like if the market is kind of holding up, it could be interesting.
I mean, there's just no way we get a recession the year before an election.
That's what you would think. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. How could that never happens? And if they have that much control.
Yeah, it looks real bad for incumbents.
Yeah, why would you ever do that? So
Yeah.
I think it's totally likely we break the high and use it as a sell off or just something like that. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see how we get out of this and it's like all good and fine. And our debt's just like increasing by $1 trillion every 2 seconds. And it's like, we're all great and everything's good. I just don't see
Debt
how that's a reality.
debt is fine. We'll pay it eventually.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
there's a
everyone's
new
yeah.
high
All
over
the people that were
480.
pissed about debt in like the 90s and 2000s, they're like, damn, I wish our debt was that low today. And it's like back then they were like, oh, the debt was 50% of the GDP. And now it's like 100, 200% of our GDP or whatever. And I think we're just
Really,
gonna, that's
that's
just gonna
crazy.
keep getting worse until it's like 500% of our GDP, 1,000% of our GDP. It's just like, you know, as long as we have the guns and the ships and all that shit, it's like America can be in debt infinite money. We don't fucking care.
Yeah,
Know?
basically.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
I don't know if we get like a GFC. That sounds naive for me to even say that won't happen. Of course, I have no fucking clue if that would happen, but it seems like the people who are highly have the most wealth are going to be able to position themselves basically to just lose nothing. Like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to just stay afloat. They're not trying to like make super crazy speculative bets. They're just trying to just chill. And if the market ranged for 3 or 4 years, that'd be great for them. They'll just buy up every actual tangible asset in the world. And then the stock market
Yeah.
will stay flat and they'll take all their money out of the market and put it into some fucking single family homes like BlackRock does. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel though, in terms of, if the market does break 480, let's say, on the SPY, I don't know if I'm going to be super bullish on a continuation because it kind of seems like the fundamentals maybe aren't backing it up as much. I, I don't know. I think going into more safe assets would probably be more interesting, but yeah, it's tough. It's so hard predicting the macro stuff, but it's something that is a little bit more calm in the markets will definitely help the small caps, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But it just this year doesn't seem to come. But maybe at one
Yeah, I think
point.
right now the best investment is in yourself, like learning new things, educating yourself on different things or just stuff like that. I don't know why, unless you have, I'm broke. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a couple $1 million just sitting in my ass that I can fucking put into a Barclays 5% account. I have like 15 grand that I can deploy on something and I'm not going to put it in the fucking SPY. I'm not going to get 5% because I don't give a shit about making 5%. I'd rather put it into something that, some kind of business or anything that will make me, more versatile in our economy. But
Well, last time I checked, Playboy's either going to go to zero or it's going to bounce 100% any day now. So.
Any day now.
Any day now. Yeah.
I'm watching NKTX still. I think that it's and now I'm long.
This
And
video is sponsored by Playboy.
Yeah.
Pump up the stock price.
Gotta pump it up. Do not buy Playboy. That's
Do you guys think that inflation will increase volatility in small caps because there's just more dollars just coming into the market to pump up these stocks?
I don't know. I think not necessarily because like people are spending more dollars on like eggs and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And there's
No.
also less liquidity. So the interest rates are higher. So cheap capital is not as disposable as it was during COVID. I think actually this movie that just came out might actually attract some new eyes into small caps and day trading. I am almost more optimistic towards that, but might be short-lived.
See it? Did you see it, Alex?
I did not see it yet. It doesn't come out in Germany until the 28th for some reason. So I already marked it in my calendar.
Yeah. I feel like for like Tom, your question, I feel like people don't really spend money on small caps unless they have like a lot of savings or something like that. Like I don't know why any person would try to make a speculative bet if they can't pay for their groceries, or like pay their rent. But
I'm not so sure about that.
Unless it's any
us
big
degens,
institutions.
fuck yeah, we will.
Unless any of the big institutions just have, because of the inflation, there's just they have more capital because they own a giant asset, so it just keeps inflating and inflating, so they have more capital to put in other things. And are they more likely to buy up some of these smaller companies and
I feel like the
or
stuff
just
that you
employ
guys
more traders?
sorry. I
That's
feel like the stuff you guys trade needs to have more upside. Like, I don't know why somebody with millions of dollars would put money into anything other than like maybe the top 10% of the Russell 2000 stocks. Like even the SPY. I mean, look at that. The SPY, if you take out the top 7, so Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Netflix, Tesla, Google, if you take out those 7, the SPY is up 4% this year. And then
Wow.
just those 7 are up 53%. So these huge banks, they're buying only the top 7 best companies in the SPY. So why would they ever put money into any Russell companies, unless it's like someone who's a VC and they're trying to do something like that. But the people who are actually moving the markets with billions of dollars, I mean, they're putting all their money right into the top 7, the ones that are like have the button on your remote, like I was talking about last week. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have a lot of money to spend, like a small cap might be interesting because it's like, oh, maybe I'll turn my $500 into $5,000. But I think the second you actually have a decent amount of money, let's say north of 5 million, your goal in life is not necessarily to make it from 5 to 10 million. Your goal is not to lose the 5 million. So you're not going to really be putting that into speculative stocks. It just is not worth it for you. Maybe you'll do it with like a very small percentage of your portfolio.
Like 10 or 20%.
Yeah, max. Even that's probably way too much. But yeah. Just for fun. But
the rest of it though, you're probably you're giving it to a wealth manager who's going to probably get you 10 to 15% each year, and then you're living on $500,000 a year doing nothing.
Yeah, that's the good life.
And then you're reinvesting it, and then the next year is 550, then 600, then I mean, you're growing quickly if you have that much.
Yeah, I think that's basically the goal for sure.
I think also options have taken a shit ton of money out of small caps, because before you want to trade the SPY and you want to make anything more than $1, well, you got to use like 50 shares, and that's like $25,000, so it's like no one has that kind of money to even trade the SPY. Well, now look at the 0DTE options. There's like $1 trillion being traded every day in the 0 day to expiration options. These guys, like you can buy 10 options contracts that are literally $2 for $20, right? That's way less of an investment, even in a small cap. And your upside could be like 1,000% in one day. So I feel like even the charm of small caps of being like, oh, I can make 20, 50%, 100%, multiple hundreds of percent in a week or more, that can happen on a daily basis just by trading SPX options. So it's like, I feel like that is something that is really transforming the market that we don't really understand yet, because it's kind of only been like the past 5 years that's become really like tradable by actual people with money. Before it was just like idiots like us. Now the actual banks are trading that shit. Like they're leveraging their shit up like crazy with options. So yeah, I wonder how much that's going to affect the market over time as well.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Sorry, just me.
Yeah, that's how it looks like. I feel like Danny got some trades in on NKTX.
I did. Not great. I went from like up 190 to down 250 to up 170. It's super choppy. Like I said, it's 35 million share float. It's just a lot of 2 cents down, 2 cents up, 2 cents down, 3 cents up, 8 cents down, 6 cents up. It's just really hard to trade. It's just not really worth it.
Yeah, that move at 1208, that dip and rip I think that was really it felt like I was watching it
Yeah.
happen. I was like, this feels like a good move. I didn't trade it, but like if that was at like, let's say 950 and I was all geared up, so to say, I probably would have taken
Yeah.
it.
And then the next green candle at 1212 that reclaimed the pullback sell-off. I would have thought that would have had a stronger squeeze through to the upside, which I guess this is probably a good example of the difference between like a 2 million float and a 35 million float.
Yeah.
Lower float, that probably would have squeezed right through where it found resistance there and kind of like grinded higher.
Yeah. Still looks pretty good right there. And then it holds here.
I don't know.
And boom.
I'm trying not to waste orders. I had a 4,500 share position around 3 back there a little bit, and I was sweating just a little bit. It worked out well enough. Kind of think it's probably not. I've traded 57,000 shares of it, and I'm up $168 on it. So that should tell me all I need to know.
Yeah, that's it. It's a grind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was yeah, tickers like NKTX, you know, from like 11:30 to 12:30, you know, that's like prime time for this ticker. And I don't know. It's an unusual time for a lot of traders to be active, but I guess people are just kind of waiting around and they're desperate. So you start seeing stuff.
Yeah,
like
that might be the case.
It's very unusual. Yeah, I'm also a little bit undecided. I was thinking about I don't know if anyone has anything specific to share, but we could probably even move into like game plans going forward. Because it's just, you know, to me, I was just thinking it's been such a grind out here lately, and there's nothing really new. And I kind of feel like the general mentality right now in the discords and chat rooms and just traders in general is kind of just like surviving and waiting for consistency. I don't know if you guys are feeling anything different than that.
A lot of people are having a hard time right now. Up and down, up and down.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess in terms of my game plans, yeah, just trying to avoid mistakes. And I don't know, maybe you guys have some feedback here, but I was thinking about reducing my max loss because I don't know what it is, but I'm having like back-to-back green days for, I don't know, like let's say 5 days in a row, just like solid, you know, average maybe $400 green days. And then I just come out of nowhere, hit a max loss or double max loss. And this has been happening to me for like 2 months now. So it's just like grinding up and then just whack. And I'm never like that. So it's, I don't know, do I reduce my max loss to keep it a little bit tighter? I'm not sure.
I would say that right now, like discipline is more important than anything, honestly. Just staying super
That's kind of what I was
strict
just thinking too.
Like give yourself room to at least lose some money.
You're right. Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't
once
reduce
you hit
it.
it's like absolutely shut the whole thing down. Like you have to stop, no questions asked. Like,
yeah,
it's so easy to take one more trade. It's just like bam, done.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. The one more trade, like it's always like I'll get to max loss within like 2 trades, except yesterday where it literally grinded down the whole time. But usually it's like I'll go for something, it doesn't work, and just boom, okay, well that was a $700 loser or like a $1,500 loser, and I'm just like, ugh, like, and then you don't find anything to crawl back out of the hole on. So if I'm not really trending up, I need to like keep reducing my size if I'm struggling, and then usually I'll find something really good and then I size up. But man, until then, if I'm trending down, I need to probably wrap it up sooner and just keep sizing down as I'm trending down, I think.
It's like that one billionaire quote where he lost a shit ton of money and he was like, it happens really slowly at first, then all at once.
Yeah.
Like I'll hit my max loss, like I'm just kind of just right there. And then I'm like, one more. Boom. Fuck off. You know what I mean? And then I'm down 2x max loss.
That's how it happens, yeah. For me too, on those blowout days.
Yeah. The blowout days, it's like a snowball effect, right? Like first you're up 1,000 and then you give back 50%. You're only up 500. You take one more trade, you're red on the day. And then boom, before you know it, blowing past.
I'm glad you mentioned the first you start at plus 1,000.
Yeah, dude, that's how it always is. Like, I feel like my big red
totally.
days are never initially big red. They're always
Yeah.
like, and then I'm bored or like, hey, you know what? I can make it a, $2,000 green day. And then that, like,
Yeah.
I start thinking about my P&L and like, getting greedy, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what makes them hurt extra bad because you're just like, wow, I just
Uh-huh.
wasted 2 more hours and I lost $3,000, and like if I just
Yeah.
saved 2 hours of time and went to the gym, I'd be $3,000 richer and way less stress.
Yeah, way less pissed off.
Yeah, way less. And I wouldn't have a broken laptop. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't need
No,
to
just
buy a
kidding. I
new computer.
haven't done that.
I haven't either. I know some people do.
Yeah.
I've broken a monitor once.
Monitors are okay. That's
Yeah,
what's
those are
supposed to
expensive.
break. Those are like the defensive line before the laptop.
That's funny as
First
fuck.
line of defense for the rest of your gear.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, if you guys want to find out, monitors, they can't really take a punch well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They got a glass chin, brother.
I wonder what your girlfriend said about that.
Yeah, she doesn't like it when I punch things. Let's start with that.
Yeah, it's understandable. Understandable. Anyone else's thoughts? That's my game plan. I don't know, reducing my max loss potentially for a bit.
I'm doing decently well since last week and this week so far. So I'm gonna kind of try to continue what I'm doing. I think that I have been more conscious of trying to buy dips and waiting for the dips to come rather than especially getting in near highs for the first time. So that's been helpful. I would like to start cranking my size back up a little bit. I did pull size back, not a lot, but definitely went a little bit more conservative the last couple of days. But like as soon as I see myself starting to stack up gains on the day, I'm pretty happy to start jacking size back up quickly. So just trying to be careful. I started today with 2 red trades that put me down just $90. And I was really good with just being like, all right, that's fine. It's literally nothing. It doesn't matter. Just wait for the open and see what maybe wants to move and we can go from there. So that worked well. Just trying to kind of keep that going. Keep a good head on.
I like that. That's good.
For me, I've been definitely wanting to be a little bit more selective with my setups, definitely being more patient, and wait for that opportune moments where the shorts are stuck, and then just identifying that and just have to take action because a lot of times it'll blow right through the breakout. It will not be any like quick pullback or anything, any entry. It'll just kind of blow right through and then it'll just go straight up. And then that's the move. Pretty much price action's over and it just starts going backside. So, yeah, just being patient for the opportune moment right when shorts are stuck, and then taking your profits. On dips, I definitely have been noticing dips have kind of been working on as long as it's still on the front side for sure. Once it's entering backside, it's just absolutely atrocious. But also being aware, I'm just looking at the level 2 and being aware of the halt down level, always kind of monitoring if it's getting close to that halt down level, definitely staying off the buy button until there's some demand that comes in or some buffer zone, because if you hit buy and then it starts to get pinned, you're pretty much not getting out. And if it enters backside, you're opening 50 cents lower, a dollar lower. And that blew me on Monday. So I'm just trying to avoid that as well. So
For me, I'm trying to just make sure that I'm taking as many like big zoom out kind of like mindset as possible. I try to do that as much as I can because I mean, we've all listened to like so many podcasts and listened to so many traders that are super high level, $10 million in earnings, 20 million, 30 million, whatever. And every single one of them says if you haven't been through like your 3-year lull where the market's boring as shit and you need to just make like tiny amounts of money and be extremely selective and learn how to manage risk to like an extreme level, then those years that are super good, you won't be prepared anyway. So it's like, I just want to make sure that while I'm sitting here just grinding away basically nothing, and it's probably going to be like this for a while, and it's been like this for a long time, that I know that at the end of this whole journey of trading, it's going to be totally fucking worth it. And all these times of me sitting here and just like making 100, losing 100, making 200, losing 200, having 2 weeks of green and then losing it all in a day and doing all this bullshit. Eventually it's going to be so worth it for that one time where it's like, everything lines up, everything's working, we're showing up every day, none of us are ever even sitting here thinking for a second that like this is the end. Yeah, I just want to make sure I stay in that mindset as long as I possibly can, because we have to go through these times if we want to have multi-million-dollar years. It's just inevitable.
Nice.
We're all still so young. Even if it takes 10 more years, like we're still young after 10 years. We can still enjoy all that.
Yep.
It's not like we're 60 or 70. It's like, oh, well, if I wait 10 years, I could be dead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
better
that's a
smash that
huge
buy button
point.
right now.
Damn.
Yep.
I'm watching NKTX.
Oh.
I'm just trying to get a couple more cents out of it and then go to the gym.
It's doing a good job, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Feel free to take the floor, Toby.
Everything you guys said is pretty much what I'm thinking. So I'd be reiterating a lot of it. I'm really looking for not necessarily pullbacks, but waiting for the stock to move back a little bit before I get in, because I'm not in the mode of chasing anything right now. I don't like getting caught high and getting dumped on right now, and it happens too often. So I'm trying to get in low. I've been trying to hold a little bit longer than I would normally, get a little bit uncomfortable with the hold time, even if it comes out as a break-even trade and I'm up like $200 or $300. I want to try to hold those a little bit longer, because I feel like I can get into some good spots when I'm getting in early on a pullback or see some structure build up and start building a position. And I'm trying to see if I can hold through the bigger move. And if that makes me break even and not take that, if I don't take that early $300 gain and end up break even, I think that it'll still pay off in the long run, that I'll be able to hold some of these positions a little bit longer and, catch some of those bigger trades and parlay that into a lot more money. I'm okay with, the break even. Sometimes when it's looking sketchy, I'll bail fast, and if there's a reason to sell, I'm getting out, and I'll take the money when I can. But I'm really working on just holding, getting into that 5, even 10-minute range, where usually I'm in that 20-30 seconds max.
Yeah. I think I also agree with Toby. Like, I iterate with everything you guys are saying. It makes total sense to me. And yeah, dips are actually kind of interesting as long as you're on the front side. So you get a lot of these moves. I pull up the 2-minute chart a lot lately, and like you'll go right into like the 9 to like 15-minute EMA zone. And on the 1 minute, it looks like it's kind of dead, but you could kind of tell on a little, when you zoom out just a little bit, like, we're still on a very healthy front side trend. And on the 5 minute, we're not even at the 9 EMA yet. So just trying to be a little bit more cautious and not chasing these high things, like you guys said. And then making a big difference. So I think we all have a pretty good game plan to some extent. The question is the execution. So let's
I just executed on NKTX, which puts me at a good point to stop for right now.
Yeah, 5 minutes extended.
Looks like a solid volume top might have just set in right there. Yeah, super extended on all time frames.
Yeah.
Looks like we might have just seen a solid volume top.
Man, nice work on NKTX, continuing to trade it. Like, I probably should have came back too. I mean, that was a really nice front side. Beautiful front side, actually.
As much trash as I talked about it, it really is holding up on the EMAs really well.
So
And it started to feel like every time it dipped, it got bought up. And that is a big clue for me.
mm,
You just have to be careful about, especially on the higher floats, like when is that one or two bigger people who are buying it up, when are they going to stop buying it?
right. Yeah, that's always the big question. And we're over the 180 SMA now, which is quite bullish. That's actually really impressive. But yeah, I'm not gonna be trading anymore today. Good luck to anyone that still is. But I love these. I love these tickers that grind up like that, because if we get a few of these, this is where I'll have those 2K days on these exact kind of moves, because then you could just get more and more and more aggressive. It's really nice.
I'm
It's
itching to be more aggressive.
Yeah, me too. Even that's got the volumes like on average trending up here. This is really good.
I've gotten like a glimpse of what happens when you take bigger size and hit a nice breakout, and I'm just itching for it. Just
Yeah.
trying to be patient.
Yeah, I've had a few of those in the last couple of weeks where you nail good size on one of those moves, because right now the percent like change on these tickers is really strong. You're getting like 10, 14% candles sometimes, and if you just nail one of those, you're like, it's like an instant 1K, and it's just so
Which
nice.
one was it? The 1016 candle on TPST, which went from what did it do? It went from opened at 727, hit a high of 8.
Yeah.
So that's a 10% candle right there. I got about half of it with like 2,600 shares. So it's just instantly a really nice trade. Just trying to wait for stuff like that.
Half of that move is already pretty amazing. Yeah.
It was solid. I was happy.
Yeah. Dang. All right, let's hope we get some more action like that tomorrow. There's definitely a possibility. The question is being patient and when. And then understanding you're seeing it, understanding, okay, well, last 30 minutes was crap, but this was the move I was waiting for, so let me jump on it. I think that's really important right now. And not letting that opportunity slip.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
have
guys.
to stay super focused, super disciplined, no big mistakes. That's everything right now.
Super caffeinated.
Super caffeinated. Oh. The eyes are just like
I've actually been making my espresso in the morning before the market opens lately to like give me something to do while I'm waiting for the open, and I've been doing well since
I thought you were going to say, because
that
you want to be like ready to be jacked up the second it's 9:30.
Yeah, no, but I am. Maybe that's something. I'm gonna keep doing it.
We need the caffeine for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, good stuff, guys.
All right, everyone.
All right.
Later, boys.
That was a good one.
Catch you guys later, guys.